Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar, starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar's recent endorsement of capitalism has sparked optimism. Local economic experts and business leaders warn that rhetoric alone cannot sustain growth. Now, they're right about that. Talk is cheap, people. You have to show action. For the private sector to truly thrive, the government must move beyond verbal support and implement structural reforms that simplify the ease of doing business and reduce the bureaucratic hurdles currently stifling investment. You call it less regulations, in other words, and that is what Republicans promote. Conservative Republicans we promote in America under capitalism. Leaders like Kiran Singh and Dr. Ronald Ramkissoon emphasize that these changes must be paired with improved national security and better access to capital for small businesses to ensure long-term stability. Ultimately, the transition toward a more robust free market economy depends on the state's ability to create a predictable environment where non-energy exports can flourish without excessive political interference. Less government, less regulations. That is what capitalism is all about. My response, the UNC has always supported capitalism to an extent. To the people, I've always believed that, and I've been saying that for quite a while now, that they lean on the conservative side and also promote capitalism to a great extent, even though they never actually used the term in the past. Capitalism results in less government control and usually leads to the reduction of corporate and income taxes. But the left has a problem with, and they always say, oh, it's giving more to the rich. Only giving more to the rich people, but they like to push that propaganda because they love socialism and taxes. The left we are talking about. That's like PNM here in Trinidad. With increased purchasing power and funds to invest and expand businesses, more jobs are made available for working class citizens, people. When you even give more to the middle class especially, and even to the rich, they open more businesses, they invest more. The style of governance enriches the middle class, who serve as the bridge between the rich and the poor. Now, you heard me clearly. I didn't say just make the rich get richer. I said the middle class. So when they make the rich get richer alone, and the middle class impoverished, you ain't going to make any difference. On the other hand, the PNM is well known for promoting socialism, and in recent times, even communism. Now, maybe not the PNM party itself, but a lot of their tribal supporters embrace communism in Cuba and in Venezuela and so forth. So, communism, systems that often cause countries to become failed states within a few decades. Having said that, there's need for balance, in my opinion, people. As much as I lean on the capitalist side, I believe there's need for balance. While I lean toward the conservative and capitalist side of governance, I also support programs that provide financial assistance for the poor. Unlike many conservatives abroad, I believe that every citizen should have the rights to free healthcare and education. And I will also add, I've said this umpteen times, as a citizen of a nation, you should be given one lot of land to own for yourself, because this country belongs to us. I don't think that's supposed to be something that is considered socialist. But anyhow, unlike many conservatives abroad, I believe every citizen should have the right to free healthcare and education. Bear in mind that this isn't actually free, like how people might want to make it sound. This isn't actually free, as most citizens pay health surcharge and various types of taxes. Some of us may not be earning enough to pay income tax, but we are paying VAT, value-added tax, and so forth. So people, at the end of the day, capitalism is the better side to lean on, while still holding on to certain little basic types of concepts within socialism. But just the very basic, because when you lean on the socialist side, people, you destroy nations, you destroy economies. It becomes a communist nation after a while. Just like we were heading to dictatorship under the mighty morphin Ghana Yam coal pot bicycle PNM people. Just like Venezuela promotes socialism and is now basically a communist state. A swift response by the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries and Heritage Petroleum Company Limited successfully contained a potentially major spill in Trinidad's main field, preventing environmental damage from reaching Venezuelan waters. After detecting the leak on May 1st, 2026, technical teams immediately isolated the source and utilized dispersants and drone surveillance to break up the estimated 10 barrels of oil. While the facility was repaired and returned to service within 24 hours, the incident has drawn international attention following claims from Venezuela regarding coastal impacts in the Gulf of Paria. Of course, they're going to try to use this as an opportunity to demonize the UNC government. Despite these differing reports, the rapid intervention highlights the critical importance of offshore monitoring and the need for continued diplomatic cooperation on shared maritime environmental safety. I wonder if they would have been demanding the PNM to inform them in a timely manner. I just wonder. Hell no. They would have said, well, you know what? We are thankful that the PNM government was able to clean up this situation in such a short space of time. But what is UNC? Nah. But Delcy ain't going to ever like UNC, because the UNC spoke the truth about her political party. It's a socialist, communist, destructive party.
The weather in Trinidad and Tobago for Monday, May 11, 2026 is expected to be hot, sunny, and breezy with a maximum temperature of 31 degrees Celsius and a minimum of 25 degrees Celsius. The day will start fairly warm with temperatures rising quickly from 25 degrees Celsius at dawn to near 31 degrees Celsius by midday. Expect a feels-like temperature peaking around 34 degrees Celsius due to the high humidity typical of the transition into the wet season. While the day is forecast to be mostly sunny, there is a low chance around 20 to 25% of partly cloudy spells and isolated spotty showers, particularly in hilly or southern areas. Conditions will be generally fair and calm overnight. Temperatures will gradually cool to a low of approximately 25 degrees Celsius. Winds are expected to be light to moderate coming from the east at roughly 5 to 35 kilometers per hour. A mild concentration of Saharan dust is expected in the atmosphere, which may lead to slightly hazy conditions. Mariners should note that seas will be moderate with open water waves ranging from 1.5 meters to 2.0 meters.
Regional news now. Demerara Distillers Limited in Guyana announced on Saturday the arrival of the first shipment of high-yielding breeding cattle from the United States for its US $30 million dairy project at Moblissa, located along the Sostike-Linden Highway, diversifying the economy significantly, using the oil industry, of course, the energy industry, in order to do so. The shipment, which consists of 89 pregnant heifers, landed at the Cherry Jagan International Airport at approximately 3:30 a.m. aboard a specialized Amerijet charter flight. According to DDL, this arrival marks a major milestone in Guyana's efforts to strengthen local dairy production and reduce its dependence on imported products. Hey boy, that is wonderful news. I can't wait to start to hear that type of news coming here in Trinidad and Tobago as well. We have an agricultural sector that needs a whole lot of investment. But we can't really rush the government either, because at this point in time, as I said on my other channel a little earlier, they inherited a bankrupt economy. A study by the Clarendon Municipal Corporation in Jamaica has revealed a sobering downturn in the number of overseas residents returning to retire in the parish, a trend largely driven by persistent concerns over crime and personal safety. Despite recent police reports showing a 41% reduction in murders in Clarendon for 2025, the study indicates that perceptions of insecurity remain a significant barrier for the diaspora. They rather stay where they are and end up dead going back in Jamaica. The findings, which are part of a broader effort to integrate migration into Jamaica's long-term sustainable development plans, highlight that membership in local returning resident associations has plummeted from 100 to fewer than 20 members. Wow. That's a significant decrease. This shift poses a challenge to the parish's economic landscape, as the loss of retiree investment is compounded by a steady outflow of younger working-age citizens seeking employment abroad again, and especially when it's people that did university studies and stuff like that. They call that the brain drain back in my days when I was studying in school. I don't know if they still use that term today, but most likely they do. The RSS meeting of the heads of financial intelligence units took place under the new chairmanship of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Minister of National Security, St. Clair Leacock. Addressing the RSS supervisory heads, Minister Leacock emphasized that it is critical to stamp out financial crimes, particularly in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the Citizenship Investment Program is attracting increased international attention. Representatives at the meeting were drawn from St. Lucia, Guyana, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's about transparency and accountability. And thus far, this new government is doing quite well when it pertains to that and serving of their people. While the opposition had some valid concerns recently, but in general, the opposition tends to lean on the PNM side of governance, and any political party that leans on the side of PNM, in general, I don't usually like to support because it's quite destructive. Mia Butley, on the other hand, seems to be like a socialist kind of way, like a PNM, and like a globalist, definitely, but she's doing a reasonably good job in her country of Barbados, though.
The global position is that financial intelligence must move beyond collection and reporting and be used more directly to support disruption. We require greater diligence in our region. And for some of us, member states, that is of the moment. My own St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is trying to enter the marketplace for citizens by investment programs, understands too well how we must be ahead of this game to make that instrument successful in our geography.
The seizure of a Barbadian-flagged oil tanker by the Iranian Navy in the Gulf of Oman on May 8, 2026 has prompted Barbados Ministry of Foreign Affairs to warn of a rising false flag trend. The vessel, the Ocean Koi, was intercepted by Iranian commandos on the allegations of disrupting oil exports. But Barbadian authorities suspect the ship was using a fraudulent registration to hide its true identity. This practice was often used by a dark fleet to evade international sanctions, has becoming a growing concern for Caribbean nations whose flags are being exploited without permission. Barbados is now calling for stricter maritime verification to prevent such deception from damaging national reputations and compromising global security, shipping security. My response: tribals who love the Ayatollah and terrorists should be happy that these crooks were flying the Barbados flag, although it ended up being that it's the Iranians that actually seized the boat. It's all about defying the white man Trump's blockade, isn't it? I mean, most likely they were using the Barbados flag not to try to evade or get away from the Iranians. They were probably trying to make it look as though, well, this is a legitimate shipment here. So Trump and the remember they said about international sanctions. So that's had nothing really to do with Iran to say. It's quite a confusing situation though, because why Iran ended up seizing it and what they really think was going on. But remember, they're trying to control the Strait of Hormuz as well. So I don't know. I don't know what really going on, taking place there. But nevertheless, well, they should have a problem with it. You know, they love Venezuela and stuff like that. Who knows? It was probably Venezuela that was using a flag. The last time they were using what? Guyana's flag. I don't know if it was Venezuela, but whoever it was using it. So now it was Barbados' turn. Nevertheless, of course, the government officials are correct to say that more needs to be done to stop this from taking place. Addressing an energized crowd of supporters, Bahamas Cabinet Minister and Engelston's incumbent Glenys Hannah Martin condemned the campaign tactics of her opponents as nasty and disgraceful. Urging voters to put respect on it, she defended the Davis administration's record and predicted a day of electoral reckoning for those relying on the negative rhetoric. Time alone will tell her. We will see what will take place there. As the Progressive Liberal Party intensifies its election mobilization, Hannah Martin's remarks aim to shift the political conversation away from character attacks and toward the government's performance. I always say vote based on performance and policy, not based on tribalism or anything like that, or propaganda. So who knows? Maybe, just maybe, Bahamians will give the PLP another term in office. By rallying her base in this traditional stronghold, she is framing the upcoming vote as a critical validation of the country, of the party's impact on the country.
This is when you begin to really see who is who. Don't glance over it. Zoom in. These are teachable moments when you are presented with the rare truth insights, when the mask of fakery falls off. It is ironic that they would choose a theme that they work for you, but not the few. Nothing in their history bears this out. And we know today, nothing has changed about who the FNM really is.
Keep the FNM out.
Get out! You don't rule us.
And stay out.
To the people of Angleton, they have had a lot to say about you in their frenzied hate campaign. Most disgraceful. They forgot there would be a day of reckoning. I want you to be sure to send your answer to them where they will hear it best, in the ballots on election day. Teach them to put some respect on it. Put respect on it. And listen in the house. Put respect on it.
International news now. President Donald Trump intensified his rhetoric against Tehran by accusing the Iranian government of exploiting past American leadership and vowing that the nation will be laughing no longer under his watch. He's talking about the Iranians, of course. The Iranian Ayatollah terrorists will no longer be laughing under his watch. But kind of way they're still laughing because they realize that you want to make deal after deal, President Trump. You have to understand that these people, they are different, and you just don't understand the spiritual side of this. In a pointed statement on Truth Social, the president claimed that Iran has utilized delay tactics for decades while continuing to fund regional instability, but they're still using it against you. They're saying, okay, we will have talks and more talks. You started a good job in Iran, and then you just stopped it abruptly and said, okay, let's talk now. Trump specifically targeted the policies of Barack Obama and Joe Biden, which was totally destructive, horrible. Their deals with Iran enriched Iran. We're talking about Barack Obama and Joe Biden, alleging that their diplomatic approaches provided the Iranian leadership with a lifeline at the expenses of U.S. interests. Trump is correct about that. As negotiations through Pakistani mediators remain stalled, these remarks signal a hardening stance against Tehran's latest counter-proposals, where basically they still want to be able to have the rights to continue their nuclear program, and they want sanctions lifted. But how many times they will tell you that, Trump, before you realize, listen, stop all these negotiations because they are not going to change. These people, I said it on my other channel and I will say it again, these Ayatollah terrorists, whether it's the Ayatollah itself or the IRGC, which is their personal political party army, not just the normal army in Iran, but their personal army, right? They believe in starting a jihad, and they want to destroy little Satan Israel and big Satan America. In their minds, that's what they consider them to be. And the rest are infidels around the world. They believe that it is their duty to wage war in order to usher in the coming of their Messiah. Their Messiah who will finish the job. What they believe is bringing back righteousness on earth and restoring Sharia law upon the entire world. Or enforcing, because I never had Sharia law before, but enforcing Sharia law upon the entire world. That's what they believe, while each of them enjoy their 70 virgins.
Bible quote of the day. Malachi 3:1-6. I will send my messenger, who will prepare the way before me. Then suddenly the Lord you are seeking will come to his temple, the messenger of the covenant whom you desire will come, says the Lord Almighty. But who can endure the day of his coming? Who can stand when he appears? For he will be like a refiner's fire or a launderer's soap. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, he will purify the levels and refine them like gold and silver. Then the Lord will have men who will bring offerings in righteousness, and the offerings of Judah and Jerusalem will be acceptable to the Lord, as in days gone by, as in former years. So I will come to put you on trial. I will be quick to testify against sorcerers, adulterers and perjurers, against those who defraud laborers of their wages, who oppress the widows and the fatherless, and deprive the foreigners among you of justice, but do not fear me, says the Lord Almighty. I the Lord do not change. So you, the descendants of Jacob, are not destroyed.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.